If you have a service-based business, one of the tools that you probably need is some kind of a booking solution. That allows your business to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in order for clients to come to you, book an appointment, perhaps even pay online in advance of that appointment. And then that way your calendar fills up and you know what you're going to do and you can see how your workload schedules out. Today, we're going to take a look at a plugin for WordPress called Amelia to see how it can help you. All right, so this is the Amelia homepage, and you can see it's a WordPress booking plugin for appointments and events, and it's very well rated. So they've got 60,000 plus happy customers. It's well rated on Capterra and also on the WordPress plugin repository. They've got a couple of demos sites that they've put up, and we're going to take a quick look at that before I take you into the back end of WordPress and show you how it looks. This video is pretty much going to be an overview of what it is and how it can work for you. I expect that I'll probably do other videos going into more details of certain aspects of it, but those will come later. So let's take a look at one of the demo sites. All right, so this is one example. When you see this area over here, they've got 6 different services, and this is for someone who's helping out with pets. And you can see they've got dog walking, and there's $25 group off-leash adventures. That's got to be hilarious. And a couple of other things, overnight care, pet sitting, and so on. So they show you all the different services that they provide, and you can see they can rank them by category. All of these are showing by service, but think about that category. You might have consulting that you do. You might also have working groups that you do with some of your clients. You might have training, tutorials. There are different educational things you can do. If you're operating a business like a hair salon, maybe you've got different types of appointments that you do. Some for just a basic haircut, maybe one for all the works. Maybe you do a bundle with different things, or maybe you're also providing other services like, a manicure, shaving, what have you. You can put those in categories and you can create bundles and you can allow people to schedule themselves, as I said, 24 hours a day. When you come in here, you can select what's going on. You can click continue, and then you can go over here to book now, and you'll get a page that looks kind of like this. So you can choose your service, but you can also choose, if you have multiple employees, who it is that you're going to work with. And if you're doing this only yourself, then this option for choosing who's going to do it probably won't appear because there's no point in making a selection where there's only one person. But that way, it's smart enough to realize if you have multiple employees, maybe people are happier with one person than another. I know when I go book a haircut, there's a guy that my barbershop that I like, I always book with him. So I look for his schedule and date and time. So let's say that just picking somebody here, we'll pick Melissa. We'll look at date and time. And continue and see when is Melissa available. And then you can see the different days. And let's say after Christmas sometime on the 27th. And these are the schedules that Melissa has available. As these are taken up, then they won't be able to be selected for the next client that comes along. So if we book something for 10:30 to 12:30, we can continue with that. And then you can put in your information. And after we get past that, we can put in some payment information if you want to. Now, you don't have to connect this with a payment provider. You can. It'll work with PayPal and it'll work with Stripe. But if you don't put something in here, you can have a little notice that says the payment will be done on site. So maybe you don't want to have your payments done in advance. But it's nice to have the option that you can already get paid before you do it. For example, I do certain consulting things where I do a discovery call where somebody wants to talk to me about a project before they, hire me for the project. I learned by trial and error, putting that up there as a free appointment to let somebody talk to me, a lot of people just wasted my time. And I remember one person who's from Copenhagen. He said, I have no interest in hiring you. I just wanted to know because I'm coming up with a competing service. I thought, well, that's just brilliant. So I charge in advance for a discovery call. You want to talk to me about a project? I want to know that you're serious about doing business with me, and there's no better way to find out that you're serious if you're willing to pay to talk to me about your project. So that is one reason why you may want to charge in advance. It depends on the nature of your business. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out and take a look at what it looks like inside of WordPress. All right, so this is the Amelia Dashboard. You'll see that we've got plenty of options over here underneath, and this dashboard lets you know about your appointments. So I've did a test. I've got one appointment booked, and of my load time, that's only 1.3%. And if I'd had revenue, then I would be able to see this. So you can check these little tabs to view your employees to see who's busy and who's not. And of course, I only have one employee here as myself. But going back to this dashboard, it just gives you a quick and easy look at what's happening in your business, what the upcoming appointments are, what the interests are based upon your employees, your services, or your locations in case you have multiple locations. And right now I've got one new. I don't have any returning guests because, well, let's face it, this is a demo. And I can see what kind of services. In this case, it's a discovery call, and I can see who's getting booked. And if I had multiple employees, we'll see that over there. Now, this is an ad for another product that they have, but that's something that we'll talk about in another video at another time. So how do you get started with this? First off, it is very easy to set up inside of a WordPress page. I'm using Gutenberg or the WordPress block editor. It also works with Elementor, so they've got a couple of different blocks that you can put in there. But before you create a page, you need to create a few elements. And you're going to have employees, and you're going to have services. So if we come over here to employees, so I've got myself, let's go ahead and add a new employee. And let's call this one John Doe for lack of a more creative name. And I've only got one location right now, so you can have drop downs where you can put that in there. And you can create a new WordPress user if you need to. You can have a phone number over here. So let's just put in this number. And if you're wondering what that phone number is, that's the phone number to the Orlando City Hall. And then you can select the time zone that they're working in, if they have a badge number, if you want to do that. And then you can check this box to send the employee, basically access to their panel. You can put in a description over here as well. You can assign them to services. So let's say that they can also do a discovery call. You can schedule by employee their work hours. Now, there is an overall global schedule, and it's running 9 to 5 by default, Monday through Friday, but you can change someone's work hours. If they have a day off, you can put that on. And if there are special days for something else, then you can put those on here as well. So let's go ahead and save this person. I didn't put a photo up here, but it's easy to have someone's face show up. So now I have 2 employees who are available, and they can do discovery calls. So as I said, before you can put up your page, you need to have not only employees, but you need to have services. So there are 2 things to look at here. You can have a category, which your services must fit under a category, and then you can add a service to a category. So I've got a category called consulting, and I've got a service called discovery call. So let's add another category, and we'll call this one training. So now that we have that one, we'll click over here. So I don't have any services for training yet. So let's start up with something simple. We'll call that WordPress Bootcamp. We're going to put this under the category of training. And we need to have employees who can do this. So I can select John Doe and William Beam, and those employees are available to be booked for that kind of training. And you can add a description either in HTML or text mode and show service on site. So if it's disabled, service will be available for booking only from the backend pages, which means that someone would have to contact you and then you'd put it in there. So you want to show this on the site if you want to have potential customers book you for this training. And is this going to be a recurring training? Well, maybe, maybe not. So you can set this up so they can book recurring appointments, whether you want them to or not. Maybe every week, every month, they come back for a haircut, if that's what it is, or they get a refresher course. Do you want to limit appointments per customer? For training, I don't do that. For the discovery call, I do limit this to only 1. So for example, it defaults to 1 because you get 1 discovery call. You're going to pay for that, and then that's it. You've already discovered what you need to discover. After that, there was either you're going to do business with me on another type of consulting package or you're not. But that's kind of why it's nice to have this option right here to limit appointments per customer. So we're going to go ahead and save that. Duration, that's almost missed one. So you can have this set 30 minutes, 1 hour, hour and a half. You can change these in another setting, and I'm going to set this up. So we're going to say 1 hour for the training. You can set a price over here. Let's say it's $150. And this thing for buffer time, you can also change this. So this is how much time do you need before the appointment or after the appointment or both. Again, it's defaulting to 30-minute increments. I'm going to leave this blank for right now, but I want to show you where you can change that. All right. As of right now, you have enough that you can build a page, but let's come down here to our settings. And you've got your working days on and off. You've got your appointments, so you can view your appointment settings and, allow booking above maximum capacity. In other words, do you want to do like some airlines do and overbook? Do you want to allow booking, below your minimum capacity? And are you going to have, how are you going to select employees? If they don't select someone to work in it, is it going to be random? Is it going to be round robin or highest price or lowest price? You've got some options there. If we look at the working hours, you'll see that you have, again, you can apply this to everything, your 9 to 5 or whatever it's going to be. If you're working weekends, you can go ahead and add schedules in there as well. If you want to put in room for breaks, what are those breaks going to be for somebody? And again, these are defaults. And if there's going to be days off, for example, certain holidays, you may want to go ahead and put those in here. So that way your calendar knows not to have people book on Christmas is coming up right now as I'm recording this. So maybe they don't book on Christmas or New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, whatever holiday it is that you're working on. Under general settings, I mentioned that you could change what those increments were. You see where it defaults to 30 minutes, but let's say that you want to make it something smaller. So let's select 10 minutes and you can see your default appointment. Is it approved or pending? Maybe you want to have somebody come back and confirm the appointment rather than just accept what people put in. There are a number of things in here, but what I wanted to point out is that you can use this for the buffer time. You could also use this for a duration of a booking time slot. So I've got that turned off and we have the buffer time set for 10 minutes. So let's save that. And let's go back and look at our services. And we'll look at the WordPress Bootcamp. And on our duration, we had buffer time. So now you see there are options for 10-minute increments. So you can create that 10 minutes before, 10 minutes after. That gives you time to prepare before a meeting or training session and also time to, clean things up, close things down afterwards before the next appointment gets booked. If we look over here at the duration, well, we still have those increments, but you can change that now. So you can, instead of doing it 30-minute increments, you can do it 1 hour, or you still have your 1 hour, 30 minutes. It just changes things when you change that overall setting. So, but I think it's important to have that buffer time put in there. So let's save that. All right. So we've made employment or employees. We've made our categories and our services. Something else you may want to look at is a location. If you've got a physical address, maybe you've got multiple addresses. I created one here for the Orlando office. So this is the address and phone number for Orlando City Hall. And because there are other businesses there. For example, there's a local barbecue chain called Four Rivers Smokehouse, and they have a small store inside of Orlando City Hall. Not a bad idea because there's a lot of people in the office who want to have a quick lunch, and there's a restaurant down there that can satisfy them. So you could do that, and then you could make another location. So let's say we add a location, and we'll call this Lake Mary office. This is in Seminole County, and I'm not going to put in the address over there or phone number right now, but that way you've got options for multiple locations. So when someone comes to your calendar and say, well, where do you want to go? Is it going to be Lake Mary or is it going to be Orlando? And then you can also have other aspects that I'm not going to go into on this overview because I just want to show you enough to get started. We're going to have other videos that will go into some of these things. So for example, you can manage your customers. We don't have any customers other than myself because I was logged in at the time I created this. Let's say if I click on this, we can see how many appointments I have. When was my last appointment booked? And are there any notes? If you have customers, you may want to make notes so that way you can say, do they want anything in particular? What makes them happy? Again, for a haircut, it might be good, if you had notes on, this person likes having the bottom part of their haircut done with a number 2 guard and scissors to match it up on top. Maybe they like a skin fade. Maybe they always want to make certain that they get their hair washed before the haircut. Whatever the examples are, you can add notes in here. So the finance part is, how are they paying? So there's payments and there are coupons. You don't have any coupons here. We could create a new one if you want to give somebody an offer. But what this is showing is that for this appointment, for the discovery call, it's in pending status. And that's because I didn't have an online payment hooked up. So what it's going to say over here is that this person owes $100. Payment method will be on site. So you never know. They might give you cash, or maybe you take payments on site. So it's pending. It hasn't been paid yet. If you want to add payment options, we'll come down here to settings and you'll see view payment settings. You can put in your currency and where you put all these little things about as far as the price and how it's going to look. But how do you want to pay? Is it going to be on site? Are you going to add PayPal? And also further down, they've got Stripe and Razorpay and Molly. So there's a number of different things. So if you're going to do a WooCommerce shop, you can do that. If you want to add PayPal and turn this on, then suddenly you'll get places where you can put in your client ID and your secret. So I'm going to turn this off because I'm not doing any payment for this. But that's how you can set up payments so people could pay on site. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how this works on a WordPress page. So I created a page just called Amelia Test. And what you can do is you can decorate this page any way that you want, that you normally would using the WordPress block editor. If you're using Elementor, they also have tools that work with that as well. So you can kind of style the page however you want. But what you do is you click over here and just type in AM, and that'll get you started for Amelia. And they've got different options over here. So there's a step-by-step booking. And let's just update this. We'll take a quick look at how that works. And this is it. So what service do you want? So it's going to show you the category and what's underneath that category. So let's say that we want the WordPress Bootcamp. Who's going to do this for you? Well, John's going to handle this one. We want John. And where do you want it to be? In the Orlando office? Because I only set up this training to go in that location. So that's where it's going to be. And then now we can go ahead and click continue. And when is it going to be? Well, let's say the 27th. And we've got our options over here. We'll just pick 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can put in your information right there. And this is drawing in my information because I'm logged into WordPress. If this were someone who is booking for the first time, all of this would be blank. And then you can put in a phone number over there and you can continue. And then payments. So if you've got a coupon, they can add it here. And then you notice it says the payment will be done on site. And that's because I haven't added Stripe or PayPal or any other payment service to this. So we'll go ahead and click continue. And then there's just a little notice. Congratulations. So you've got this. Now, what I like over here is that it makes it easy for your clients or customers to add this to their own calendar. So if they're using Apple, they can click on here and they can download an appointment. Same thing if they're using Google Calendar or Outlook or Yahoo. All they have to do is click on that and they can add it to their own appointment calendar. My computer's set up so it doesn't allow the pop-ups, but basically it'll give them a prompt in case their browser settings prohibit a download. But all it does is it just downloads a little file. I click on it, it adds it to Apple Mail, and we're done. So when you're done here, you could either click finish or you could go to a customer panel. And a customer panel is if somebody's logged in and they're like a repeat customer, they can get different aspects of that. So let me go back and show you what that looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this and we're going to do / and let's take a look at the customer panel. So it's very simple and we'll just update this. We're going to view this page and all we're getting is a login. So if they've been here before, they can log in with an email or username. They can log in with their password. And that will give them basically a portal view of making an appointment. So that way, if you've got recurring people coming back, they can use this. There are a couple of other views I wanted to show you. So let's go edit this page. I'm going to get rid of this /AM. What I like is this catalog booking view. And now you see we've got our different types of categories in what's available. So you can click view all. You can see a discovery call. You can filter this by employee. You can filter this by location. So the discovery call, I can do it in Lake Mary or the Orlando office. For the training, I've got the options over here as well too. Don't know why that didn't show in the other one, but it gives you a way to find who you're going to be working with, and if need be, what location they're going to be in. And then you can go ahead and book it. You can view the employees. You'll see them over here. And of course, you probably have their photographs over here to make that look a little bit better. So let's say that I select this one. I'm going to select John. Book now. There we go. Now I can select John. And this is going to be the Orlando office. We'll click continue. And you're kind of getting the same view. So let's take a look out into next year. And maybe we want to do something after the New Year's Eve. So next Friday, and we're going to start at the beginning at 9 a.m. And again, of course, you put in your information there. And that's how you would go through that kind of catalog view. All right, let's take a look and see if there's, I think, one more that I might be able to show you. So you've got a search view, catalog view, events. So if you're booking events that might be happening, you have views for that. You can look at the customer panel, and you've just got a number of different things. So let's take a look at, I don't have any events set up. So let's take a look at the search view and see how that looks for us. So let's pick a date. Again, I'm going to go look up in January, what's available on Wednesday. And then now you can see that you have discovery calls available. You have the boot camp available. So you can choose what you want. It's just a different view, and you can limit this. So if you only want to see the discovery calls, you'll see that that's available either from John or from William. And you can filter it down further, the Orlando office. And then let's say we just filter it further by just me. And then that gives you an option to see that, okay, I'm available. It's a 30-minute discovery call at the Orlando office. And now you can come down here to book, and you can choose your time. So you've got a number of different views of how someone can find the person they want, the service that they want, the location they want, and they can filter things down. So it's very flexible that way. All right, let's go back to the home page. So we're back to our dashboard. You can see that obviously we have another another appointment made. So now there's an appointment for John, one for William. I want to come over and take a look at notifications. This is something I find very helpful. You can see there's a number of different types of notifications, and you can check them or uncheck them. You can create a new notification. But for this type, appointment approved, and this will go off as a notification to your customer. Let them know that it basically confirms that their appointment is ready. And if there's something where it's pending because maybe they're waiting for a confirmation, maybe you've had that turned off where you're waiting for someone on your side in your business to approve their appointment, that's fine. If for some reason you reject an appointment, it'll let them know if it's canceled. For example, maybe the person is not available that day. Maybe there's bad weather and they can't, do the training session. There's rescheduled if there's details changed. But what I also like are the next day reminders. And there is a follow-up for choosing us. We hope you're satisfied. And you can do packages where, again, I talked about bundling things together. So maybe you've got a package of different things that will go together. So you've got different notifications you can use, but notice that it's got these short codes that you can apply in there for whatever your service was, whatever your company was. And these are going to the customer, but for the employee, they have the same thing. So we've confirmed that there is a customer who's got an appointment scheduled with you. Notice that we have email notifications. We have SMS notifications if you want to sign up for that service. And also you can integrate with WhatsApp. What would be nice also if you had some different things, for example, I like using Slack. I would love to see Slack notification in here. I don't use WhatsApp myself. Slack would be good. Some people might like Telegram as a notification, either for the employees or the customers. But I think that they've got the bases covered with email and SMS at the very least. Most of your customers, I doubt they're probably going to be on your Slack channel, but for employees, a Slack channel might be something that is useful. You can customize this. So there are different forms over here. And let's go ahead and continue with one of these forms. And now you've got the different categories that you can use. And you can just basically select, how do you want this to look? And kind of change it up just a little bit here or there. You got options. Do you want it to be filled? Do you want it to be plain? Do you want it to be just text? You can change the card color, for example, this background over here. And then you can change the colors to match your business as well. So I'm not going to go through a full demonstration of how that works, but the idea is that there are options that you can turn on or off. So for example, this little badge down here for which service category it is, you can, service badge, there it is. You can turn that on or off. So all these little details you can enable or disable and change the way you want it to look. So we've talked about most of these things over here, and I think to give you an idea of what Amelia can do for you is pretty good. We probably want to take a look at some of the integrations. So let's go over here and look. And you see that it has integrations with your Google Calendar. So basically, if you're looking around on your computer or your phone and you use Google Calendar, it will update your calendar. It will also read whatever appointments that you have, so it'll block those out. Same thing will happen with your Outlook calendar. You can integrate with Zoom if you're having an online meeting. If you use webhooks, you can do that. And there are some other things. So marketing tools, do you want to have Google Analytics, and Lesson Space is a service I'm not familiar with, but they've integrated there. One thing I would like to see over here is Apple Calendar. I work on a Mac and I use the Apple Calendar. So that means that if I have appointments on my Apple Calendar, it's not going to integrate with this. That is something that some of the competition does. I've used the Intuit Calendar. I've used Calendly and also Fluent Booking. Fluent Booking, when it first came out, did not integrate with Apple. Now it does. And it's something I'd like to see Amelia also integrate with the Apple Calendar. But I think that with Google Calendar and Outlook Calendar, they've got some of the heavyweight options out here for integration. You can also define roles as far as who can do what. So for employees, can they configure their services? Can they configure their schedule? Or do you want to keep that for an administrator? So an administrator, they can book at any time, and booking time slots will depend upon their service duration. So you've got a few options there. But your customers, what can they do? And your employees, what can they do? So the employees will have a panel where they can go and look and see what's on my schedule. And you're going to limit appointments per employee if you need to. You can allow them to configure their days off. Basically, you have options to enable or disable for your employees, your customers, and your administrator can have a bit more. So let me cancel out of that. And that is really all I wanted to show you right now. So overall, I think Amelia is a very good platform. It's operating quickly. It's got all the bases covered, except for the one thing I mentioned was kind of a nitpick, was Apple Calendar. I would like to see that. But the fact that it has Google Calendar and Microsoft's Outlook Calendar really does cover a lot of the bases. I think it'll satisfy most people. And you've got so much flexibility with how you can create what it is that you're offering to allow your customers to book. You can allow them to make payments on site or online with your webpage. So it really does extend your business to a 24/7 machine that can accept payments and book your services for your business. I hope you found this interesting. If you like Amelia and you want to go check it out, I will have a link in the description below. And in the meantime, if you like this video, please go ahead, click the thumbs up, give it a like. That tells the YouTube overlords we did something right. They'll show this to more small businesses that'll help them get their booking situation straightened out. Thanks so much. I'll see you again in the next video.